Hey there guys, it's MyGamesGX here, and we are going to check out a replay for New Branded where I win against Hecahands. I'm also going to show you a mirror match gameplay so you guys can learn some mirror matches, just what to really do the best in that kind of scenario. Also, 40-hour Branded guide has been rendered and everything. It's just passing right now monetization check, so look out for that in the next 24 hours. It should probably be out by midnight, if not in the morning after today, so look out for that. That's going to be my magnum opus for Branded, so very much would appreciate you guys going to show that support and everything like that. So with that being said, we are going to get into our first game against Hecahands, and this is with the new Hecahands support too, which is pretty cool. So he's going to go normal summon Spirit Sculptor. He's going second. I draw High Spirits, Talents, Opening, Incredible Ecclesia, and Albaz. And Spirit Sculptor allows him to tribute one monster and add one monster with the same attack or defense. And so he's going to add the Ibtel, which is their starter, because that's also 1621. And he's going to go the hidden Hecahands to search the Ibtel. And then also summon out the Gygus off of the Ibtel on the resolution. And Gygus is one of those interesting cards which allows him during main phase to activate the top 3 cards of my deck and special summon one monster, so it's pretty interesting in that regard. So he's going to activate it, reveal Retribution, Saronir, and Ghost Spell. He's going to take out the Saronir, and then he's going to contact Fuse off for the Juzza, the Hecahands Juzza, whatever it's called. This card is their boss monster in the extra deck for the most part, which allows which is basically a contact fuse. By tributing 2 monsters you control, one owned by your opponent's opponent and one illusion monster. And then if this card battles, it cannot be destroyed, and during the main phase you can add one Hecahands from your deck or graveyard to your hand. So it's not really a boss monster, it's really just an extender. But he is going to use its effect to search out the Ibel Hecahands, which is basically their Omni monster effect negate. And it's a counter, so it's pretty good. Then he's going to use the new monster. He's going to reveal the Mechable, which is their new monster out of Burst Protocol, or no, Blazing Dominion. And you can reveal this card in your hand, fusion summon one Hecahands fusion monster from your extra deck or deck using monsters from your hand or field, including this card in the hand. And if a illusion fusion monster is sent to the graveyard while this card is in your graveyard, you can add it to your hand. So it's basically a Poly in Engines, which I guess is all right. And so he will go into the Xeno, which requires 3 Hecahands, and this is a very broken quick effect during the main phase. You can look at 2 random face down cards on in your opponent's extra deck, and then special summon one of them to your field. So that's pretty cool. And he is going to then summon out the Dragon that Devours Dogma, which he revealed out of my extra deck, which is pretty interesting. And then summon about the Jizu, and then use its effect on special summon, which is pretty broken. Also being able to just use its effect to then spin back 2 monsters from his graveyard, plus the 1 monster in my graveyard, the Saronir. And so then he goes into the Photon Lord, and that sets up his board. So it was a pretty decent turn 1 for Hecahands. He ends on 3 3 interruptions. I open up with main phase High Spirits, and he's going to Ash Blossom this. This is why I like starting with High Spirits, because it allows you to really just like bait that Ash Blossom, right? Like if I have Branded Fusion or fall into the White Dragon access, now they're going to kind of regret going Ash on this, so this is totally fine. And he's going to go Xeno here and summon out my Sanctifier, which is pretty good. I was like, damn, okay, so now he gets to use Sanctifier effect if he wants and summon out the Ibel, and then give me an attack position Ash. And then I get to go Talents, because he's activated a monster effect. Talents is one of those cards I've really been debating on running more of in Branded, because anytime I see it's just game-winning card, right? So I take the Photon Lord just to prevent anything else, but at this point he really can't do anything. So I mean it would just have to be Ash in hand, right? So, and now we go normal summon Albaz, and he uses the Ibel Hecahands, which is fine because I just would rather him negate the Albaz here, and he gets to take it as well, which is pretty cool. But I negate it with the Photon Lord, so that was a pretty heads-up play of me taking the Photon Lord with the Talents, because he could still take one of my monsters, so going into the Albaz there prevents it from just doing any more, which is pretty interesting that he still has something to make off the Albaz, right? Like, I have no clue what he has to make here, but maybe a Stapelia Or actually, he can't make Stapelia off of this. I wonder what he would be making. But I go into the Ecclesia, normal summon, go Ecclesia effect into Fallen of the White. Now I can go Fallen of the White, summon out the Ecclesia. I'm running 2 Ecclesia in this build, trying that out because it is also a starter. And then here I'm going to synchro offer the Ecclesia and the Dark Dragon because this is now the TCG name of it. I don't like it. I like it. I like the Ecclesia of the Black Dragon, but oh well. I go out to Spriggan's Kit, and this shows you guys a unique kind of Spriggan's Kit line that I know a lot of people haven't been doing. So we can go Spriggan's Kit effect, search Fallen or Branded in White. I banish out the Fallen of the White Dragon, so send the Photon Lord to the graveyard in order to make Mirror Jade here. And then here I just go Mirror Jade, banish non-target, the Xeno, sending the Albion, of course, to extend my combo. Here I just crash the Jade and the Sanctifier so that I could use Jade effect to clear the rest of his board. And then I go Kit here, attack over the Albaz, and now I go into the end phase. I trigger out the Ecclesia to give me back to hand. And here I go Stigmata, or sorry, the Dragon that Devours Dogma to add the Fallen on the Virtuous for follow-up, which is really good. And here I go Fallen on the Virtuous to revive the Mirror Jade, which is pretty broken, right? So I get to revive the Mirror Jade. You can't revive the Sanctifier because it was not properly summoned, even though he did summon it. And I get my Ecclesia the Black back, and I get here choose to set Branded Retribution. I am on Branded Retribution in this build. It's a pretty good grind game piece, and it's really good into these fusion decks like Dracotel, just being able to negate the summon of any of their fusion summons. So it's really good in this kind of grind state. And so here he does end up going into the Ibtil, and here Ibtil is going to trigger, and then Ibtil will then summon out the Jizua, but here I'm going to be able to use the Mirror Jade to non-target banish the Hecahands Jazua, and this gets me to the Titanclad too, which is pretty nice. I'm fine here with using Mirror Jade, honestly, all things considered, because I can just recycle the Mirror Jade if I want to, and this gets me once again to Quem, and so I can use my Ecclesia the Black to do something else, like play around Bestial or anything like that. So I go Quem here, and now Quem is going to be able to send the Cartesia, which I previously did not have access to, which is pretty good. So now I just add Cartesia to hand since I can get that into the graveyard by discarding it off of the Albaz on my opponent's turn need be. And here he's going to activate the new guy again, the Macabal, to fusion summon, but here I'm going to just use the Branded Retribution in order to negate it, and this will destroy it and then spin back the Titanclad for extra grind game. At this point, I'm going to chain on Resolution the Ecclesia, and Ecclesia is going to give me to Mercurier, which will mean that he is on 1 card in hand, so I can negate basically whatever he uses at this point, and this is a very monster-heavy kind of deck. So he's going to use the hidden Hecahands to banish this card, and then my opponent... And then I draw one and then discard one. I feel like this is just kind of like whatever at this point. I guess it is to trigger one of his effects, which is fair. And this will trigger the... He does have the Boreas in hand, which all their... see, the thing is, Hecahands is 3 hand traps that essentially trigger when your opponent adds a card from their to their hand, and then they can special summon the monster. This one in particular allows them to, during their main phase, look at one random card in my hand, and then if it's a monster, you can special summon it to. At least it's not a quick effect. That'd be insane, but here I'm just going to use Mercurier, and now he really can't do anything from here, and I win this first game against Hecahands. So let's check out this branded mirror match now. All right, so shout out to Jalen Johnson. He's a part of the community. We ended up going against him on stream here, and I'm going first. I go branded red Quem, Ghostbell, Saronir, and Vuelos going first. And once again, this is a mirror match, so you guys will see how it's interesting how I go into Quem, Saronir. This is actually a line that I would be able to usually get a hand rip for here, but I'm not running the hand rip, although I kind of wish I was in this game. So here I send the Mercurier off the Quem. This is always the best line if you have a Bestial, so I can go Saronir, banish the Mercurier, so I can extend into the Fallen of the White Dragon, since Mercurier searches any monster when banished that mentions Fallen of Albaz. And here I will get the Fallen of the White, and here I will just go Fallen of the White effect, send the Albion, and then go into the Fallen of the White, and now I can go Fallen of the White into Ecclesia. I'm not running Golden Sword Soul, so I'm just going to synchro off for the Ecclesia. And here I can trigger the Quem, which I don't mean to right here, actually. This was kind of a misclick, but at least I get the Ecclesia. But here I'll just go Ecclesia and the Dark Dragon effect into the Cartesia, and then go Cartesia effect to fuse off the Saronir plus herself into Grand Guignol. And now I can chain block the Grand Guignol with the Saronir here and send the Branded High Spirits for follow-up. And then go Grand Guignol, send the Dragon that Devours the Dogma to the graveyard, and I can set the Branded in red in the end phase, and then go into the end phase. And now I can go Ecclesia the Black, get the Fallen of the Virtuous, and then now I can go Albion the Branded Dragon, and then I set my other Fallen of the Virtuous, which is why I like running multiples of them, because multiples definitely do come up in this build. And here I'm just ending on a pretty good unboard, but here I'll just go the extra mile and go Fallen of the Virtuous to then go and revive the Cartesia, since I have an Ecclesia in rotation, and then I end on a pretty competent unboard, and I'm still playing through Dark Ruler no more. I could have gone into the Mirror Jade here, but I'm fine with just looping on my opponent's turn. It doesn't really matter, to be honest. And this is going to be my unboard, and my opponent is on Branded, of course, so he goes Fallen the White, send Albion. Here I just chain the Ecclesia so I can go Albaz effect to fuse off his Albaz. And here he goes Albaz, or Fallen of the White, and here I'll go Fallen of Albaz to fuse off one of his monsters, but he does have the Fallen of the Virtuous, which is pretty good, so he pops my Albaz. But here I'll just chain the Cartesia, so I can get value out of the Albaz and go into another Grand Guignol. And here he summons out the Ecclesia, and here I go Grand Guignol 1, and then chain block it with the other Grand Guignol to send the Ido to the graveyard, because at this point in the mirror match, I'd want to be sending the Ido to the graveyard. It's very much just the easiest way to win the mirror match, especially when he's already used Fallen of the Virtuous, which is the main out to the Ido. So here I'll go into Quertus off of the Grand Guignol, and then I will send the Ido off of the Grand Guignol, and here I go into the Branded in red to target the Albaz in the graveyard, the Fallen of the White Dragon that counts as an Albaz, of course, and he has the Called By, which is pretty good, so this is now definitely a game, since I can't quite lock him, but I do have the Ghost spell, so I will hopefully get there, and now I can go into the Sanctifier by banishing the other Grand Guignol plus Fallen of the White, since I don't have any other Despia targets. I don't think I'm running Lulu in this build, nope. So now I can go Quem effect. Quem is going to target the one monster, but then I can trigger the Albion the Sanctifier Dragon now to target the Cartesia plus the Ido, and then my Quem is going to target the Incredible Ecclesia. And honestly, I feel like I did misclick here. I was just playing a little bit fast. I did notice this while we were playing on stream, but I definitely could have waited on the Quem here. I didn't need to do it right there, but here he'll have the lock, so now he's kind of in a bad situation, but he does have the Ecclesia and the Black Dragon, which does allow him to spin back the Ido, actually, so he is able to do that, which maybe to me means I probably shouldn't have gone into the lock line, to be honest, because when I saw him send Ecclesia the Black Dragon, I should have probably done something else, but at the same time, it at least forces it, and I still have some other interruptions, especially if I had Stapelia, but here he goes Cartesia into Ecclesia the Black, and I'll just chain Ecclesia the Black into Kit to try to get some follow-up. He goes into Quem, but at this point, I've kind of dealt with a lot of his follow-up, so now I'll just search Branded Fusion off of the Kit, and then I will go, or he sends Tri-Brigade Spriggan's Kit here off of the Quem, which is pretty good. Another one of those really good bricks, which allows him to summon the Fallen of the White. And I was like, oh, does he have another Synchro to make? But no, he goes Foolish Burial here, and Foolish Burial will give him the Golden Sword Soul. And now he goes into the Draco Berserker of the Tenyi, which is another Synchro I've been seeing some branded players run. When your opponent activates a monster effect, you can banish it, and then it's also got some OTK potential. It's okay. It's not that great, but it's okay. And so here I can go Quertus, he changed the Draco Berserker, and now I can just use the Quertus effect. He does have the Golden Sword Soul. This was also definitely a misplay here, because I should have known this will just trigger the Golden Sword Soul here, right? I shouldn't have even used the Quertus effect, to be honest. But he gets the Cartesia, and here he just, I don't know why he doesn't attack over that with Cartesia, actually. But he gets the Ecclesia the Black in the end phase, and see, that's the thing. I made him use the Albion, or the Ecclesia the Black, to spin back his Albion, so now he doesn't have much of a grind game. Right now he only has Ecclesia the Black and Cartesia. And I have the Titanclad coming back, which allows me to get to Fallen of the White. I do have a lot of just follow-up here, but he does have a pretty decent onboard, right? He has OG Albaz in the graveyard, so Ecclesia the Black can get him to, and the Dark Dragon can get him to the Albaz, so I have to play this a little carefully. However, I did top deck the Ash Blossom, which is just kind of sacky. I kind of feel bad about that. I mean, to be fair, he had, the Called By Cross out, right, and the Fav, right? Usually you aren't dealing with that. But I drew the top deck of Ash. That's why Ash is just so insane this upcoming format as well. Being able to stop the Ecclesia the Black Dragon and the Dark Dragon is really good. So now I can use my own Ecclesia the Dark to then spin back and then targets his Draco Berserker. He uses Draco Berserker effect to banish it. He then goes Ecclesia the Black here. I go Ash, and now I can go Cartesia. He chains Cartesia here into the second Grand Guignol, or into his first Grand Guignol, and now I can go into Rinbrum because I have the kit plus the Albaz, and now Rinbrum will be able to basically stop his Grand Guignol, right? Because I can go Chainlink 1 Quem, get the OG Albaz to start picking apart his board, but now he has the Grand Guignol. I can just negate that with the Rinbrum and spin one of his cards, which shows you guys why Rinbrum is actually one of the best cards in the whole mirror match, for sure. Being able to just negate, like, Mirror Jade and Bounce is just so important with Rinbrum, and same with, like, Grand Guignol, for instance. Now you can go Fallen of Albaz into the Mirror Jade and just go for GG here. So that was a very good game against Jalen Johnson. GG's Jalen, but that was a fun mirror match. He let me lock him, and he still played through it, and that's kind of the example of, like, having a layered lock as well. Being able to, like, not just, like, if they out your lock, you don't just lose on the spot. That's kind of what I talk about a lot of the time. This is like a very similar build that I was using to the one on the video. I think it's a little different, but I think it's a very similar build. You guys have seen me on it, but yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Look forward to the 40-hour guide in the next like 24 hours less. And with that being said, check out my website if you want to pick up my branded spreadsheet. It has 170 plus branded combos and Draco Tile combos for the old and new formats. So with that being said, we'll be seeing you guys later. Subscribe today. We're on the road to 20,000 subscribers. I very much would appreciate it. We'll be seeing you guys later. Bye now.